everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special birthday and 3 Geek Girls edition of 2 plus 1 Geek Girls on Thursday night. I remembered Thursday night. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kelly, and of course, thank you at Geek Girl Birthday Girl Lyssa. Why did I say Lyssa?
It's all good.
No more Jackfire for Crysstal. Or a little more.
Would you like in my lap? Come on.
And make sure the TikTok's working. How is everybody doing today? Thank you out there for joining us. Kelly, how are you doing?
It's a Thursday. I think the real question is how the birthday girl is doing.
I am doing well.
What?
I had someone for the first time do a stupid video to be like, we don't care on TikTok. And I'm like, you're 12. You weren't even the target demographic of this. Fuck off, kid. Like, TikTok just recently put out the promote feature for videos. So you can pay a little bit and push a video out more. And I paid the $20 so my other like streamer friends and whatnot didn't have to, so we could like see how it works. And so like you're gonna get from what I'm seeing, you're gonna get more bang for your buck. Kara, hi. You're gonna get more. Oh shit, Kara, you all right?
Oh.
You good?
Anyone else having audio problems, or do I need to cut out and come back in?
I'm having no issues.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, I think it's me. Everyone sounds like my butt, so I'm gonna cut out and I'm gonna come back in.
Okay.
Sounds good. This is a thing.
Yeah. Yep. Troubles.
It
Anyway.
wouldn't be a Two Geek Girls stream without troubles.
This is true. There we go.
Hello again.
There we go.
Hello.
Everyone sounds normal now. Hello.
There.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. So we're back. So I know people are commenting, but I'm not able to see any of them. So I'm a little blind right now.
I mean, I only have one comment, so
Yeah,
I
it's
might
from
be.
Olive. Hi, Olive.
Yeah. Hi, Olive.
I thought somebody had, but there we go. We're getting a little bit. There we go. How we doing? All right, there's okay. It'll catch up, and then I may have some weird connection tonight, so maybe me tonight. Who knows? We're gonna find out.
Oh,
We'll see.
we'll see what happens. It's all good.
All good. So, Lyssa, what have you done for your birthday so far?
Yeah.
I hung out in Discord with some friends for a little bit on voice chat. After this, I am going to be playing with some of my streamer friends. We are going to be playing Goose Goose Duck with the developer.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Which is nice because since I'm waiting on a motherboard for my PC, for like my desktop PC, like I haven't been able to stream on Twitch, like stream any games on Twitch for a while. So like,
Oh no!
Yeah.
Your
For like a
fandom's
month.
clamoring for you, girl.
Well, I mean, the good thing is, I do have, like Two Geek Girls that I do. I also have like my TikTok lives I can do. I've also been on like, one of my friends has a TTRPG stream that he does, and on Mondays he does something called One Shot Firing Range. And so each week he takes another TTRPG system and does a one shot of it. And I was on that this week and last week. And so like this week I basically ended up playing Starbuck, Kara Thrace, but as a werewolf. And there's magic in this game.
Okay, cool.
So I was werewolf Kara.
Okay.
I'm enjoying the idea of what do we say? It was gonna be elves communicate with twitching ears.
Yes, the meme I posted earlier.
Yes, I think, and I just found the dog gif, and I'm like this.
Yes.
They twitch like this. So does this mean they're happy? Is this
Their
what they
ears
do
are
when
back. They're clearly pissed.
Okay. And then there's happy ears. I'm like, and they have a really hard time communicating with humans because we don't have Twitch ears. Yeah.
It's like, what are they feeling? Their ears don't move. I am disturbed.
I think there's a lot of D&D players that should absolutely write science fiction and fantasy more often. But I remember about 10 years ago thinking, like, if they put this energy into something that could be published out of it, like, you know, whole stories, whole worlds, whole things are built, and it's like, oh, I don't, but nope, nobody ever did. Not in my circle. Not in my circle. But I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are D&D players who do that. I know there are, but never in my circle, and I thought some of them really could.
Some of the things with D&D too is, like, you have to be careful because, like, Wizards of the Coast has certain things.
I don't mean like specifically D&D being published or specifically those things being published, but just the creativity that clearly came out.
Oh yeah.
So many, like they were so enthusiastic about fantasy, clearly, but introverts. What are you gonna do? They're good at D&D, and sometimes, yeah. But yeah, I was always struck by that.
I don't know if introverts are, always
My
the best
friends
at D&D, because I think it takes an extrovert, it takes an actor to really get into a role play game.
Yeah.
So they might be insecure, but I don't think that they're necessarily introverted.
More specific, they were like it was like in every other situation, which may just be more of a social anxiety situation. It's like certain games made them come out, but it's that person that we saw wouldn't necessarily be seen anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like, just while we were playing the game, we would see them, and I was always like, dude, you got a whole world inside of you.
Yeah, no, like, it can be really, really cool what comes out of these D&D situations. Like, some of the situations, like, obviously, like, oh, it's Frankenstein D&D edition, for example. But it's still really funny when that happens. Because, like, I was playing a one-shot that Son of Asgard was running on his Twitch channel, and the shit that we did in that, I was playing my paladin that I had made just for the one-shot, and paladins are charisma casters. Charisma is related to, like, persuasion and seduction and things like that. And typically bards are the ones that you think of, the bard's gonna seduce. No, my paladin. I rolled to seduce Frankenstein with my paladin.
The monster or the doctor?
The doctor, not the monster.
Okay.
Frankenstein, not
Frankenstein's monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, his last name's Frankenstein too, if you want to get technical. But yeah.
Yeah, technically. Technically not wrong.
But yeah. So a little bit, I was just going to ask you ladies, on behalf of wanting to get to know our birthday girl a little bit better, my curiosity about Kelly, of course, was there too. And I realized that there were certain questions I had never asked you guys. And I know it's kind of like this Pinterest deal now to, like, hey, let's do 20 questions of the birthday person and see how well we actually know them. Okay. So let's do 20 questions. I'll see if I can remember the 20 that I had. 20 questions that have to do with getting us to know the geeky you a little bit better. Okay. So, as an example, what was the first fandom that you really identified with? To the best of your memory, the one you really latched onto first. And we'll go with it. We'll get Lyssa. Yeah, I think we could have guessed that one. Sailor Moon. Kelly.
I think maybe Batman, if we can't count Barbie, because I used to watch those 80 Barbie cartoons for some reason.
I'd count it. I would count Barbie.
You know what's really interesting is I would almost count, and it doesn't make any sense because obviously it was different when Barbie first came out, and then even 20 years ago. but I had Barbie comic books.
Yeah,
And
I mean, Barbie's got a fandom, I think, but it's weird. It's a weird fandom, but like I feel like we have
interesting.
to count. Yeah, it's just I can remember like, and I'm talking about this is like baby. So like this is like before Sailor Moon. This is like toddler almost. Like I can remember really liking Barbie and Little Mermaid. I Love Lucy and Batman. So take your pick from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Everyone would leap on Batman as being the obvious one, but then kind of the question we also think of today how easy it is to talk to other fans of something, anything, even if it's collectible. So we think of that today. It wasn't so easy back then.
No.
The internet has definitely done wonders for fandom.
Internet, conventions, just what we can see in entertainment. There's more than 8 channels on TV now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just think that it's become more culturally acceptable to just be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you like something, there's no shame in liking it as long as it's not like something that hurts somebody else. So
yeah,
there is that.
Yeah, and clearly based on sales, you're not alone. If you are a fan of Barbie, clearly, whether people talk about it or not.
Yeah.
But I can remember the McDonald's toys. My mom is definitely a Barbie fan. She has a whole collection, including I Love Lucy Barbies. So there you go. Crossover. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see. Another one I wanted to ask was remembering your very first, what we would call a fandom convention. We'll go with Lyssa.
Are we counting Renfest?
I always counted that as more like an arts and crafts fair. But that's just me. I may be wrong.
If we're not counting Renfest, Dragon Con.
Okay. Oh, no.
Because I've been going to Renfest since I was an infant, literally.
Oh, yeah. How about you? What was it for you, Kelly? You count that?
I mean, I'd count Ren Fair personally because I think that that's like a convention in the sense of everyone kind of is just enjoying nerdier aspects, and it's it's something fun. People dress up. People have been dressing up to go to Ren Fair for years, and there's booths and stalls and things to do, and it's all about medieval times, and so that's very nerdy. So I think that counts.
It's very nerdy.
Yeah, my first convention was actually Nerdicon, which is a now defunct free convention that was at Columbus State University in Georgia, Columbus, Georgia. I actually staffed it. It's just not necessarily that I didn't know about conventions, I just hadn't gone to one. Right. So because I was 19. So that would have been my first convention, and technically I staffed it because I was a part of the Campus Nerds that ran it. So
yeah,
that was my first con.
I kept thinking that the first conventions I went to were like in high school. It was basically the fests that were thrown, if you remember the International Thespian Society, or if you were doing Shakespeare competitions. These were absolutely conventions geared toward that. Then I stumbled on these pictures of when my parents took me to, and I suddenly remembered, sci-fi conventions when I was itty bitty. And it was kind of before Star Trek conventions were everywhere. So this was through, the mid 80s when they were kind of gearing up, like mid 80s when we started going sci-fi conventions, and these sci-fi conventions became Star Trek conventions as the years went on. For whatever reason, they merged in like 2 of the cities we used to go to, because suddenly Star Trek people were at every single sci-fi convention, and that was just what happened in the 80s. So apparently I've been going since I was on my daddy's shoulders.
Aww.
Yeah, it's cute.
It is very cute. Very cute. I remember the Q virus. There's a good Reddit thread for you. Unrelated to anything happening today. That is an old John Delancey story. We'll just forget that. Another one I was actually going to ask, do you remember your first piece of nerd gear? And this could be like the first t-shirt you got or necklace or something like that you got that was just proudly stating your fanness and your nerdiness at the same time. It's a tricky one.
I mean,
Like,
technically my name does. Are we counting that?
Hold on. Oh no, my speakers are going out. Okay, say it again.
I said technically my name counts, right?
I mean, I think that's your parent. That's your parents' freak flag flying high. More than yours. It's a tricky one because it really depends on. For a lot of people, it kind of meshes in with what your parents were maybe also into, especially today. Like you're just, parents buy little Darth Vader onesies for their newborns, and it's like, But yeah, I think like mine was probably either Superman or Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. When it was like the gear, like it was like the official T-shirt, like the official, like,
That was, so my mom bought a lot of Disney stuff. So like, I'm sure my first piece of fandom stuff was definitely some Disney onesie or something. What I remember, it would have probably been Power Rangers. I think we were on the hunt for a pink Power Ranger shirt, like no tomorrow. And I remember there was like even like fashion gear, and there was a pink Power Ranger accessory kit that had a pink scrunchie with a gold Power Ranger, like it was plastic, but it was like painted gold plastic like charm on it.
Okay. Probably the coin from their...
No, it was like the Power Ranger like name logo.
Her. Like her.
Yeah, but cheap.
I got you.
It was in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it was just like hanging on a hot pink satin, but the faux cheap satin scrunchie. Like I remember that hardcore, and it had like the barrette that was in the in that lightning bolt barrette that was also like horribly cheap because they were play items, but as a child, you don't care.
Yeah.
So very 90s of itself.
I think mine was either a Power Ranger something because like my brother and I had Power Rangers chairs, or we also had like the like the TV dinner trays so you can sit down and it just goes in the kid's lap. So they can sit on the floor. I had Batman. My brother had Power Rangers.
Power Rangers was everywhere. Everywhere. It was on everything. It's like people think it's crazy today, and I'm like, Power Rangers started it. I'm telling you, Fox and Power Rangers, another level.
I don't think that they ever really intended or knew that it was going to be that way. I think they were so self-conscious about it not working that they poured everything into marketing, because like the story behind Saban even getting the rights to do that, like for Power Rangers, was really tough. And like then to get the green light, and like that's one reason why like they weren't even union and all sorts of stuff, because they did everything they could to like save as much money as possible and do it as cheap as possible so that way they could get greenlit into a series. Yep. And I don't think they really expected it to blow up, because that was also like that was the start of the Saturday morning. Like, there was stuff in the 80s, but like Fox Kids is really what like made that blow up the way it did too.
Yes.
So
animation domination. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, for sure. Okay. So 90s flashbacks going through my head. Lord. Still have all the fan club stuff too. I don't know. That'd be a good one. Did you ever, and do you remember your first fan club? Did you ever join, and do you remember your first ever fan club? Like
Yeah,
the one you
Power
begged your parents to. Was it Power Rangers?
My parents paid for
Never.
Power Rangers and Mary Kate and Ashley. Yeah, those
Oh,
fan.
Mary
I was
Kate.
never in any of the fan clubs. Like, well, okay, I say that, but technically I was a part of the Linkin Park fan club because, like, you know how they'd sell it along with like a CD and a T-shirt back in the like early
Oh, the
2000s, late
street team.
90s. Yeah,
Yeah,
something
they
like
started
that.
calling them street teams, but I mean that works. Yeah, same deal.
I technically, by buying a T-shirt, a Linkin Park T-shirt, ended up being a part of the Linkin Park fan club, but it was because I
Okay.
wanted the T-shirt that was in that pack.
Right. Yep.
I never
Yep.
did any of the fan club things.
Had to do Power. Power Rangers was a thing. It. Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it
it
was. Yep.
video, but it was like a really cool video, and like you got little, as you paid each month, you got like little trinkets and stuff, and like letters from the characters, and
So I think you were part. So what I did was season one. I only remember getting basically, thank you for joining the fan club. Here's all your stuff. And it was just a one-time thing. And then it became, and I never joined the monthly one. I knew my parents weren't going to go for that, but I do remember seeing the ads. Sorry. Okay. Seeing for the monthly ones where you would get something new every month. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, we never did every month, but it was just stuff like, you know, because I don't know like if they paid monthly or not, but like I remember getting the big package from season one, and we were way too small for it, but we had that video, and then there was like random little things because they would like send you a flyer saying, hey, pay us this money and we can send you this. So like certain kits or certain months, I think like my parents paid for, and then we'd get, and it was like I said, it was like a letter and you know little stickers or something. Mary Kate and Ashley's was like the where it was at though, because it had a very special Mary Kate and Ashley sing along song cassette tape. It had posters. It had, you know, like really cool things about them and t-shirt and like stuff like that. And of course that was like a one-time situation, but I remember how like it was a big old box and it had them like in their mystery gear because it was like right after that first mystery movie. Yeah, and like I think we only bought it because of the cassette tape because I just wanted all the songs.
Nice.
Brother for sale.
Yeah, that one played non-stop on the TV.
Yeah.
I bet you like that one. There were lots of little girls singing that one.
Oh yeah.
I have no doubt. No doubt. But I think Power Rangers is going to be a constant theme for a lot of people, and that one, that doesn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah.
Did you ever get anything back? Did you ever write a letter to an actor or a creator, like a fan letter? Did you ever write a fan letter? No. Maybe you have a smirk on your face when you say that, Lyssa. You're like, It looks more like you don't want to tell.
I actually didn't. I didn't do
Nothing.
anything like that.
I remember almost writing one, and then I had an option to see him at convention, so I didn't. It was to Paul Dini at one point. I was going to write him, but I ended up writing to Dean Cain, and I did get a letter back.
Aww.
Who knows if whatever it was, and I'm sure it was the stamp signature, but at least at that point somebody was answering.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him credit for that. I had this postcard with like sexy Dean Cain picture, and I was like, I don't know, 13. So I don't know.
Oh, goodness. Well, I say that, but so Anne McCaffrey's daughter picked up the mantle of the books, the Dragon Riders of Pern books, after her mom passed. And she's got a Facebook page and everything, and I basically was like, you know, I loved your mother's books as a kid, and I picked up your book recently. You know, like, thank you for continuing it. And she wrote back. So
there you go. There you go. Yeah.
That was like in the past 2 years though. Like I didn't do it as a kid.
No, but it's like the first one that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They count. They count.
Hello, Donnie.
I
Hi,
mean-
Steven. Hi, Bake Ben.
Hey, guys.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Yeah, I don't. So I remember doing like the little fan contests for Nickelodeon where it's like, draw your fan art and we will share it. And I remember like I would work really, really, really hard on it and never ever got on it.
I swear those were people's kids that they left. I swear it was.
Yeah, there was something rigged, I swear. But I don't think like it wasn't necessarily that I didn't want to. I think it was just at the time it was harder to reach out or find out how to write. And I really was, just like I'm not now. I'm not really super interested in telling someone my feelings and have it printed in the back of the comic. Like that's all cool and dandy if that's what you want to do, but it's just not my cup of tea. I don't see where like my opinions matter enough to be printed. I don't think that that's worth it. And so I really didn't do that, but like once I started getting on the internet and stuff, I really did like start looking, researching, or like might say hi. And, I think like at some point during MySpace, I remember I sent, because back to Power Rangers, I found Amy Jo Johnson's personal MySpace. And so I sent her a private message at that point, and it was just like, oh my God, hi, like, I want to add you as a friend, but obviously I'm not, like, you don't know me and I'm just a fan. So I just want to say hi. Thank you for being the Pink Power Ranger. You are my favorite. And that was like basically it. And I think I was like 12 or 13 at this, maybe 13, maybe 14. I can't remember how long ago MySpace was, but it was like right at the beginning of MySpace. And she added me back. Like she actually added me. So I was like, oh yay. I'm like, yay. And I mean, all it was like, the only thing I remember, it was like her and Johnny Young Bosch, and they were like dressed up clearly for Halloween. And it was very silly. And like, as I look back on it, I'm like, they were probably very drunk, but I was like a little too naive and young to recognize this. Because this is like before they got married and had kids, stuff like that. But it was just really, I thought it was very cute. But like, we didn't even really speak to each other, because that was like the only message. Because I was like, I'm not bugging her, I'm not touching.
No, yeah.
That's really the way I feel. It's like if I have something I want to say, I'll say it. Or but my thing has always been like, I think I get more enjoyment now out of connecting with creators and actors and stuff like that by like showing off my love of the fandom, like through Instagram or Facebook or through podcasting, talking, etc., and having kind of basically having them reach out to me. Maybe that it's because I'm a wimp, I don't know, but it's like I just never want to bug somebody that I don't know, because it's like, I know you but you don't know me, and I don't want to creep you out by doing saying anything. Like it's a lot easier if like maybe they come to me and talk to me, because then I'm like, okay, so now you know me, I know you, now we can have this conversation without it being awkward.
Yeah
And sometimes that is very much the way to go. But I sometimes, I don't know, worst they say is no, but I'm just saying.
No, it's a way of handling it. I think it's just more of I think I've talked about this before. Like I grew up with some Macon, like actual celebrities that lived in Macon and still have summer homes in Macon, seeing them at the gas station and, always being told, okay, this is their off time. Don't bug them on their off time. Kind of deal. So it's like, I try to be respectful. So it's like, it's one thing if like they're standing in line, I paid for them to talk. So it's like, if they're not, if I haven't paid for them to talk, I don't really care to bug them.
No, absolutely. Even when it is that time, like, with Nathan Fillion, he's totally fine when he's there and doing promotion, even when he's not behind the booth, when he's just like doing it and you happen to be up on the roof with him or something. But the rule is you got to take your phone, have it on camera, hand him the phone. Yeah. He'll take the picture of the two of you. He's very nice. He's very nice. It was very nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Hand the camera back and go back. And I'm like, cool. Yeah. Because he did for that reason. Like, he set up the rules and I followed the rules and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even did the Keanu hover hand. I was like, I'm not. Okay. Keanu hover hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. which I love that so much. I think that's great. So much. Well, that's a good segue into the next one. The next one's going to be, who's the first person you ever waited in line for? Have you ever waited in line for a person? If you have, if ever, who?
It was an MTG artist. I don't remember which one that it was that had the line, because like I was at SCG Atlanta, or no, was it? I think it might have been Grand Prix Atlanta that I had to wait in the line for. But I was trying to get some of my cards signed by the artist.
Yeah.
So I waited in line to get my card signed. I don't, for the life of me, remember which artist it was, but I was like, oh, these artists are going to be there. Let me see what cards that they did in my decks. And if I have any cards that they did in my decks, I'm going to just go ahead and get them signed, because it's cool to have signed items.
I think for me, for being basically just kind of scared and cheap, because I don't like always just I really don't blow money when I'm at cons as much as like I feel like I should, but I don't. I plan on it and then I just don't do it. But I think the last time I like truly waited in line that something strange didn't happen and I was like dragged up to the front kind of deal, because that did happen, was the photo for David Tennant. But really that wasn't that bad. I just wish that like I hadn't have been so nervous, because I didn't speak at all. But two, it was like before I could even say anything, my friend shows up with like his mini TARDIS and was like, I need this in the photo. Please let me, because he built it. And it was like, yeah, that's cool. And then like immediately David Tennant's attention was on that, but then it started falling apart and we both were like, no. And so then that was the interaction, because it would have been Billie Piper, but I actually, because there was a stalker situation for me, not for her, I actually got taken to the back, so I was the first in line. So I feel like that shouldn't count. And that's like every other celebrity I've ever met has always just been, if I'm at a con, it's literally been I run into them somehow. I don't know how, I just do, or I wind up in the elevator, etc. Like I remember I saw Gillian Anderson, literally because I was getting on the elevator at the same time they were trying to like sneak her in at Dragon Con, because remember she had like one day. And so she literally came in at night, and it was just, I just managed to do that because and the only way I really like quote unquote met her was they opened up the elevator, and it was strange because it was just me. Like I was getting off and they were coming in, and it was like just perfect. They were like, yes, empty. And it was like, because it was literally like
close enough.
I see her. Yeah. And, I'm leaving as they're getting in, and I just turn around and go, was that Gillian Anderson? Who was?
Think it was?
Well, because she was a little short, but like she was wearing these stacked heels because she was like 5'2", so like she was basically my height, but like tiny, but like just very clearly Gillian Anderson. Tiny. But it was just like, I think that was Gillian Anderson.
She was really tiny. I would always pass her on the street because she had it was a Natalie Portman, and I'm 5'2", so Natalie Portman's like here.
Yeah.
And I was always passed around the thing. I remember being struck by that. Some of them are really tiny. Some of the guys are really tiny too. And they look really normal on screen, but really
tigers.
Sorry, what?
Excuse me.
Sorry.
My nose was itchy.
Sorry, I was choking on the shade. I'm sorry. Yeah, I officially at a convention, I think it was to meet it was either the first Red Ranger, so it was Austin, or it was another TV show that was on. It was like a cast from the show, but I was probably the Red Ranger. In all honesty, it's probably the Red Ranger that I waited for because I happened to be at the convention. He was the only like real Ranger that was there. It was like one of those Fox Kids conventions, and everybody else that was there was. Like, there were like stunt rangers that were there, but he was the only one that was, there
on
for
screen.
Yeah.
On screen.
Yeah, he was the only ranger that was there. And then until then, I don't think I've waited in line at a convention, like even the line you just pass through and get your stuff signed, like if you win a raffle or something, which is cool because sometimes the cast members are really nice and that. But I got to wait to talk to Hank Azaria outside of Shakespeare in the Park. He was not in the play. He was waiting back. So Shakespeare in the Park, right? Middle of Central Park, all outdoors. There are secret exits and entrances. Like we never saw Meryl Streep come or go at all. But we saw, but Marcia Gay Harden or Christopher or any of them, but like Marcia Gay Harden came around in her bike, like she was riding her bicycle back to her apartment. And if people recognized her getting on her bike, she had no problem stopping and stuff like that. So I remember like we would kind of do a little informal line and happily. And I was like, those memories stick with me more than conventions, especially conventions now. But that moment reminded me so much of old conventions, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, but Hank Azaria was cool because he wasn't even part of the play. So my friend and I were both kind of having fun with him. Like, oh my God, I really loved you in this, but that's like the smallest part I've ever seen you play. You know, like we were having fun. And he slipped into like the Moses Lack voice and stuff like that. So it was cool. And I was like, oh, he needs to do more conventions. I like him.
Yeah.
That was that. So yeah. But I think it was a ranger again. Sorry.
It's all good.
It's probably going to be a lot of Power Rangers. I think we've established this.
Yeah. Even me being the old buzzard that I am, yeah, I think it's still going to be that. Let's see. Do you remember your first, not toy, but your first collectible item? Because remember when we were kids, we don't think of toys as collectible. So we'll set that aside. But like something you specifically
I will count these as collectible because my mom hid them in the fucking closet from me.
That's cheating.
Even though they were toys.
Yeah.
That I wanted to play with. I wanted my Sailor Venus and Sailor Jupiter fucking dolls. And she was like, no, these go in the closet. And then, like, years later, she got rid of them without asking me.
That's just theft.
I was like, Mom, I'm still a Moonie. Give me my toys.
That's just theft at that point.
But it was a Sailor Venus and Sailor Jupiter doll.
I think that's a little bit like that's like retro, like a retroactive. Is that the right word for that I'm trying to find? Collectible, as opposed to something that's like the first time you bought something with the intention of collecting, like not touching or collecting it or keeping it in box. It was like your first adult acquisition, even if you were a kid. It's like, I'm going to put this up there and not touch it.
Yeah. So probably like for me, back in 2002, they had the really nice, I mean, they were Toy Biz, but they were really, really nice Spider-Man and Mary Jane dolls, and they were at Universal Studios in Islands of Adventure, and we kept passing them the whole time we were there, and I was like, I really want these. These are what I want. I want them. I want them. And my mom was like, no, because they're collectibles. They're $50 each. Like, we get them, you can't touch them. They're a collectible. Like, and this was like a ongoing conversation, I think, for 3 whole days. And so by the time we left, I got them, and immediately they had to be put up. I did not play with them. I did not touch them. Like I said, I was like 11, 12 years old. And we didn't touch, like, for real. They were never touched. They were meant to be collectibles. They were meant to stay in the box until Gabe saw, so my nephew Gabe, 2 years ago, I think at this point, saw Toby in the attic, and he was like, well, I want a Spider-Man doll that I can take the mask off of. It is still to this day the only Spider-Man toy that you can remove the mask. So we went and we looked on for the pricing, and while now the pricing had not decreased, it also hadn't increased, and I was like, okay, look, it's legit like almost 20 years now. Sure, kid, I'm not making money off this. So he has been playing with them now. So they're now completely worthless. But, that's also, to me, I think, collecting to collect is kind of Like, I mean, that's cool if that's what you want to do with your money, but like, isn't it a lot more fun, even as an adult, to be able to play with it and to be able to like just be able to like touch it and read it and hold it? Like when it comes to comics, like I don't want just to like collect to collect. And I think that's the reason why like I'll never do the GEC grading stuff, because to me that's just not worth it. You're spending $150 just to put something in a plastic case in hopes it gains some value.
Right. That's for the professionals who are selling them to do. That's not for me. Now, not having been said, Alec does have boxes and boxes of graded comic books, and he has the entire Captain America collection. I'm going to give him full credit, but he also did that like as an adult. So, okay, whatever you want. I honestly was a late bloomer in this because I realized that I had some toys that I've held on to, like some original My Little Pony and stuff, but that's not why I bought them. Like I happened to have all that stuff.
Yeah.
That wasn't why I bought all that stuff. Yeah. I honestly, the first time I remember saying, I'm getting this just for display, I have to put it somewhere. You remember the pull-up dolls? Have you seen these ones? So when they did the limited editions of Catwoman and Supergirl, they're beautiful. I thought they were beautiful. So I bought 4 of them, and I actually, it was a lot of money. That was a lot of money. Even then, even brand new, like the limited edition ones, and then the ones that they did. Those were the first time I was like, must have whole set.
Yeah.
Just too cute. I opened up all my McDonald's toys. I opened up all my, like, even the micro machines. I don't have any boxes or anything for that. Those are toys. But these ones I have like in display cases and the whole bit. That's really the one I'm going to say, yeah, these ones. So it's like a Catwoman pull-up doll, Supergirl, Harley Quinn, which is still the hardest one to get. There's like 3 on eBay right now. I keep watching. And then and a Batgirl. Yes. So I was like, yeah, that was mine. But that bleeds into the big eye surrealism thing too. So that's probably why I got them at the time. So yeah, there was that. I'm liking some of the answers in the comment section, by the way. Just so we know.
Yeah.
Some of these
and like, I mean, it's just nice to be able to like take something like this. There we go. This and have it on display. Like, come on.
Yeah. Right, you're not necessarily buying that because you think it's going to be this or that's decoration. That's not collectible.
Yeah, that's my decoration for my room. Thank you.
That's just decorating. Yeah, see that, and that's the difference. Like everything I had before that was, I didn't care whether it was collectible or not. I wasn't going to take care of like necessarily. Yeah.
Like that is technically one that people would be like, oh, it's collectible because it was like one out of like 524 that were made.
And that's just not something that we're thinking about when we buy them.
It's like, no. That is on my shelf.
This is for fun.
This is for me. This is for my accidental Harley Quinn shrine.
That does happen. Harley Quinn is everywhere. So the next one's going to be, and I've been thinking about it, so I'm going to ask it first as the children of MySpace that we are. What was the first nerd-based chat room or board that you ever joined?
Are we counting on like Nick.com back in those days?
If your reason for joining it was to talk about something specific, then maybe.
I mostly was on there to play the games on the website, but occasionally would talk in the little talk spaces.
Right.
I was a very young child, unsupervised on the internet, and I surprisingly managed not to have horrible things happen, but I was going on the AOL Kids chat rooms, like early, like 1996, I think.
Before parents caught on, like early.
I don't think they ever knew. I mean, and literally, because it was like, you
I mean,
know
like
how
in,
like AOL Kids, the chat rooms was set up. One, they were always heavily monitored. Two, they were based on like different things that they had tabs for on AOL Kids. So like, you know, there would be a thing for Fox Kids. There would be a thing for Kids WB. You know, different like major kid friendly things, Hot Wheels, Pokemon, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So that
yep.
was kind of my first thing because like you could just go in and you would see like people talking about stuff, and then at some point somebody would get weird, and it was really funny because they'd get weird, and everybody else who was an actual kid was like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? We're gonna leave now." And
Who
so,
are
like,
you?
yeah. So I mean,
What? What are you saying?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And it was all. I don't think I ever did. I don't remember ever being like a chat room fan page. And now the funny thing is I have to go back and like read about other people, like the archives and stuff, because some of them were hardcore, and to the point where I mean, like they had a ton of information. These TV shows were people's religions. Now we're getting to like teenagers and young adults, right?
Yeah.
And to the point where the networks had to monitor these boards because, that was the first place a leak was going to show or something like that.
Yeah.
It was nuts. That was nuts. That's about the time I became more aware, as opposed to, kids saying stupid stuff to each other when their parents weren't looking, which never really, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know. I just that I was I was a little late to the game with that, I think.
yeah.
So, do you remember? And feel free to list the first names. Do you remember your first nerd squad?
Yes. I'm still friends with a good portion of them.
Okay.
So, my best friend Caitlin, who her daughter is my niece now. Courtney, Mercedes, and Cody.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and Vaughn and Jessica.
How are you, Kelly? Did you have a nerd squad?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say anybody was a nerd squad. I mean, I had different friends from different message boards and, you know, DeviantArt and, you know, different
Mm-hmm.
online friends. And then, you know, I had my real life friends. I don't know. Like, I mean, I generally always kind of talked about fandoms or whatever I liked or whatever was going on. And so I just kind of counted that as my friends. And I don't know if I
Mm-hmm.
never if truly counted them as like nerd squads or like, you know, these people stay in this fandom and this people stay here. So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it could be different thing. It could be the person that you met with, like, I don't. It could be the person you met to play Magic: The Gathering with at lunch, like that group. It could, but honestly, in my case, it was probably theater first.
Yeah,
It was the theater nerds, and that.
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I would play with anybody that wanted to play.
yeah,
Really ever knew their name or you know reached out or contacted them again. I mean, that's my thing is just you sit me in a room and I'm just gonna start talking to people. Like I don't.
Yeah, that's a mood.
I
So,
do that now, whether they like it or not.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that's,
will be my friend at least temporarily.
yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of Friends, just a little off topic. Am I the only one kind of really enjoying the Friends reunion stuff?
I haven't watched it yet, and I need to watch
I
it. And
haven't
I feel like
either.
everyone is like I guess quote unquote spoiling it already. Like
Yeah,
'cause it's like guys, it came out like at 3 a.m. today. Some
yeah.
people had to like work. Calm down.
It's
But
the new water cooler talk. I swear. It's
yeah,
which again, I want to make fun of people, but I'm also kind of really loving it, and I like to tell myself I'm loving it because they seem to be loving it. And I'm like, oh my God, 20 years later, a group of people are still friends. This is awesome. But I don't know. That just reminded me of that. And I've got to watch the whole thing because yes, you're right, Kelly. It is getting spoiled. Okay. We've got time, at least for me. You guys are welcome to stay for, one more. And let's see, what is my other favorite one? All right. We did conventions. Let's see. I was going to do a travel one, but I think we've covered like the farthest conventions people have done. Okay. What is a show from your first fandom show that you had to binge all the way through? You're such a fan. Like, what is it for you, Lyssa? Was it Sailor Moon? When it was available, did you binge it again as an adult? What's the show you loved when you were younger that now you've gone back and you're just as much of a fan again, binge watching it again as an adult?
So with Sailor Moon, I feel like it was the case that, like when they came out with Sailor Moon Crystal finally, I went back and binged that. Because the fact that when they Americanized the original Sailor Moon, they took out a lot of the LGBT plus themes. And so Sailor Moon Crystal is a lot closer to the manga. So, like, don't get me wrong, I've sat down and watched an episode of the original here and there.
Yeah.
Just to laugh at, like, what they did to change it. But I feel like the OVA was definitely a better version of it. But the one that I actually had to sit down and rewatch as an adult and watch it all the way through was the original X-Men TV show.
Yeah.
Because it still holds up 20 years later.
Yeah. That's that theme song. You know, it's going to be the earworm the rest of the night. Yeah, Saturday morning. I used to hate my parents when they forgot to wake me up. They didn't understand. You don't understand. I really want to see this. Wake me up.
Oh, thank you, Jared.
How about you, Kelly? What have you revisited as an adult and you're just as big of a fan today?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that, so being a child of the internet, I don't think like I've ever like not stopped randomly rewatching stuff or picking stuff up because like I would remember like reading a fan fiction and not remembering what they're referencing and then going on Google and I mean, or even before that, Ask Jeeves, before Google. So like going on Ask Jeeves and you would find like places where, you know, because it was before YouTube, so it'd be places like Newgrounds, or it would be even before Newgrounds, I think like the original Real Time website, when they were a website. That stuff, like, you know, people would post clips there. Like as long as they've, you know, we've had video on the internet, people have put them on. So like,
Yep.
you know, I've been able to find things and rewatch them, and you know, I'm really good about my memory too. I think the only thing that I've ever went back and rewatched and was like, oh dear God, it's horrible, was like Thumbelina.
Oh, God.
So, Thumbelina's awful, guys. It's
everything wrong with Thumbelina in 17 minutes.
Fern Gully is great.
Fern Gully is great, okay?
Yeah, so Fern Gully holds up, but I don't know. So that's what's like, it's, I mean, I'll rewatch whatever I feel like. In fact, normally I rewatch things before I watch something new. So
Yeah.
I guess like most recently, maybe, see, I guess maybe like most recently, I think I was rewatching X-Men Evolution, which I will say like most of that is still pretty good, but you never know, because some of those episodes don't hold up as well, but for the most part, that it's still pretty good, and that was early 2000s. And then, you know, Hey Arnold is always good. It's always a good feel good show to binge.
God.
It's a child show, like. There was a lot of jokes. I don't think that we fully
There's
understood.
a lot of jokes on Nickelodeon.
Yes.
Nickelodeon
was notorious for that.
Mr. Craig Bartlett should apologize. He knew what he was doing. But I mean, none of them are like horribly bad either. It's just stuff that Grandpa say. They're like, wait, hold on. Grandma, especially Grandma.
Wait, does that shirt? Wait.
Well,
What?
the joke in Rugrats, Grandpa and the kids come back from the fucking movie store.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm putting a Reptar on for the kids, and this is for Grandpa later.
Right.
Oh,
It was like,
yeah.
this is from the adult,
got,
from
like,
the behind
women
the curtain room. Yeah.
So, random fact on Rugrats: Craig Bartlett, creator of Hey Arnold, also created the character of Cynthia in Rugrats. He came up with that idea for the doll.
Good. Oh, Cynthia. Poor Cynthia.
Cynthia!
With the three wisps of hair she had left.
Punk rock hairdo.
Yeah. Poor Cynthia. Oh, God, Rugrats. But Hey Arnold used to get the Helga episode, man.
Yeah, no,
Helga. Heavy.
Dude.
I
Helga was like the quintessential neglected child by the parents because like the older sibling is such an academic. So like they totally ignore the fact that they've got another kid that's doing well in school too.
Oh, I mean, also her dad seemingly was pretty like neglectful, if not abusive, and her mom was a drunk.
Yep.
And I think like her sister, there was a lot with her sister too. Like Olga was not.
That was a mess. Yeah, her sister was messed up. Yeah,
it was very clear she acted that way because she felt like she had to not get the
brunt of anything, and Helga was
and so no matter what would happen, you know, Helga was going to get the brunt of it. It's a whole toxic. Like we could have an entire show about like just how horrible, how realistic, Hey Arnold is.
They did. That was a really good. That is one. I'm glad so many videos exist on that on YouTube because I watched and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how smart this was. But I think the one for me was. Do you remember when when the DVD sets when the DVD sets for Batman the Animated Series came out? It was the first time I had the availability of watching all of them, straight through in order. So I think that was it for me. And not only did it hold up, I like a bigger fan every time you see it. Like, it gets for me gets better. So that was mine. Yay! Did you have some fun, Lyssa?
I did.
Yay!
Hello. Kira, say hello.
I think birthdays are a good occasion to get to know people better. Like, yay!
Can you say hello?
Kitty! Sure you don't want another one?
I have 2. I wish I could take on a third.
I have 5. All right.
I can't pay for another, like a third one's vaccines and everything.
Yeah. Well,
I wish I could.
We'll do it the first time. and the fix and the everything. That's okay. They're really cute. Well, I'm trying to think if they'll still be here when you're sitting for us. Because we actually do have to wait until they hit a certain weight because they have to all be fixed if we're going to send them up north.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah. All right. I know I've got to take off in a minute. But of course, first I want to thank everybody thank you everyone for joining us from me. Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Lyssa. Of course, happy birthday to Geeky Girl Lyssa. And then I'll let Kelly and Lyssa tell you what else they're up to this week before we go.
Okay, I will go first so that way we end on the birthday girl. And really, unless you are a Patreon member of Spider-Man Crawl Space, you probably won't see me tomorrow, but I have a Patreon paywalled satellite show, and then that's it. Because we are taking a vacation for Make Mine Mayday. And so that's it.
Okay.
After this, I am going to be playing with some of my streamer friends. we are playing Goose Goose Duck, so you guys should check out Workin' from Rome's Twitch stream, because I will be playing with him, and we're playing with the devs of the game, too. So that's going to be fun. Let's see. Next week, I am on Stormcrest, so it's not this week. What else is going on this week? This week is kind of just like chill. my D&D streams aren't this week. The things that I've done on other people's streams have already happened this week. I was on One Shot Firing Range on Radio Free Will's Twitch channel this week. And that was interesting. We played Fate Core. You guys should check that out, by the way, because One Shot Firing Range in particular, Will takes a new TTRPG every week and does a one-shot with a bunch of guests. And the next one I will be in is at the end of next month, because it's Pride Month, and so he's doing TTRPGs that were made by members of the LGBTQ community.
Cool. Yay. So there you go.
Very cool.
Stuff coming up for everyone. And then Kelly gets a little bit of a break from Make My Mayday, but that's okay. We'll catch her before that. Yes?
Yes.
Hopefully. All right.
Alrighty,
There is
thank
real
you guys for spending my birthday with me. I love you all.
Happy birthday. We love you.
Live long and
Thank you,
prosper,
everyone.
folks.
Have a great rest of your week and live long and prosper.
Bye.